I'm Johnny Millennium, this is Victor Lucas, and this is Film Fury. And today we're reviewing The Hitman's Bodyguard. But before that, we have to thank our friends at the VFS School of Film. So we saw the movie The Hitman's Bodyguard, starring Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Victor Lucas, what did you think of this movie?
I like that you gave me third billing there. I'm actually not in the movie.
And Victor Lucas is in the movie. Would you like to be in this movie?
I think it'd be kind of fun to be in this movie. There's a lot of carnage in this movie. It is a very, very silly action comedy. It feels like an August movie. It feels a bit superfluous.
Well, that's what you've been telling me. The August movies are the worst time of the year for movies.
Yeah, it's because they started summer earlier. I don't know if you know this about Hollywood, but they start summer in like February now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Big blockbusters come out then, for sure.
So by the time August is out and movies keep rolling into theater, it's like Hollywood is spent. They have just like, we don't have any budgets anymore. We can't market any of this crap. Just put it in August.
So what are you saying? You didn't like this movie?
No. I mean, if I'm going to go right to the end of this thing and spoil the fact that whether this is something that I would give thumbs up or thumbs down to, I'm going to give this a big Roger Ebert thumbs down.
Absolutely. Big thumbs down to the ground. My thumb is in the ground. That's how much.
And it's not because of the actors, because I think that Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds, that's music to my ears. I like both of these guys.
Well, you know what the weird thing? On paper, that sounds like the greatest team-up of all time.
Well, and frankly, they do a good job.
They do a fine job.
They're committed to everything in this movie, and Salma Hayek is fantastic in this thing as a foul-mouthed waitress that becomes the bride of Samuel L. Jackson.
And Gary Oldman is even dragged into this film. I don't know how they got him into this. I love him so much.
Me too. I love him, and I hope somebody out there in the internet land does a supercut of Gary Oldman screaming from all of his movies. He does some good screaming in this as well, and he actually he plays this this Russian leader who is very corrupt and not above killing innocent people to further his own desires and whims. And he gets poisoned in the movie off camera, but he's got all of the the espionage ruddiness on his face, all of the scars left over from the poison and the effects of that, which a nice little touch. There's actually some pretty decent character work all the way through this movie.
As you said, the characters are not the problem.
Yes.
I love Ryan Reynolds. Anything he says, I laugh at. I think he's kind of fun. But honestly, I hardly laughed during this film. I heard you snicker a few times.
Yep.
I was sitting there going, oh my God.
It's trying so hard.
You know, the problem with the movie is its pacing. It's disjointed. So what happens is you put these characters together, we go on an adventure, but the problem is we get a little bit of talking, some shooting, car chase, overhead shot, back to talking, shooting, car chase again, same thing over and over. So much so that you feel sick at the end. In fact, I turned to Vic at one point and I said, is this movie over? Is it going to end? And it just keeps on going.
I know. It felt like it needed a lot more time in the editing room because I think that there was a lot of coverage, a lot of stuff shot for this, and kudos to the second unit and stunt teams because they killed it. I think they legitimately brought some really interesting stuff. There's this sequence in Amsterdam where we've got a boat, a motorcycle, I think a helicopter was involved, and cars all over the place, machine gun fire everywhere, bodies flying, and it was really elegantly choreographed and captured on film. It was pretty damn cool, and lots of stunt sequences in this movie really work.
No, all the action is really well done.
But they just have too much of it.
It's too much, it's gross.
It's relentless, and it's coupled with terrible visual effects, like awful visual effects.
There's one scene at the end where we both laughed at each other, not at the movie, going, this is so 1990s, the effect.
And a lot of it is the compositing and the green screen work, which is like rudimentary stuff. I mean, there's a sequence where Ryan Reynolds is just supposed to be so exasperated and all of this chaos and carnage is going on behind him, but it's so clearly, you can see the green edges around him. He is not in jeopardy. He's not even where the second unit stuff was being shot. He's just sort of standing on a stage with a green screen behind him, and you can tell that there's nothing is going to happen to him, and it was terrible. It undercutted his whole performance.
It's funny that you say that. There was even another sequence where Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds are talking. Samuel L. Jackson, it was green screen behind him, and I'm like, they did this after the fact.
Dude, I knew we were in trouble in this movie when it starts off and we've got all of these shots of this pristine house, and we're kind of setting up Ryan Reynolds as this hugely successful bodyguard, and we show the character putting on his clothes and getting ready and jumping into his fancy car, and and you can see it's a stand-in, not Ryan Reynolds, in the house, putting on the stuff, kissing his girlfriend. It's not his face. You can tell in the first 2 minutes that it's not Ryan Reynolds. They just shot this like commercial to, you know, set up that it's going to be him and his character, and it's not him. And it's so clear, and it's like, what are you doing? That's filmmaking 101, man.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's exactly right.
Yes.
Who is the director on this?
It's Patrick Hughes.
Terrible.
Who actually, well, I think that you can lay a lot of blame on him, but
definitely.
You can also lay a lot of blame on the visual effects, supervisors, and honestly, the thing that ruined this movie for me, that made it just an abomination, and I felt trapped by it. It was long. That was
I know
that
what
was
you're
part
gonna
of
say.
it. But the music is just awful all the way through.
It's
all the way. I mean,
they've
got like sax solos and lots of 50s music and the most, you know, cliche music samples and bands that we've heard in a million action sequences. It's like this thing was stuck in time.
I know. I think the reason why they were looking at the editing and were like, this sequence sucks, put in a good song. And this sequence kind of sucks, put in a good song. And all of a sudden, the entire movie is flooded with too many loud songs.
Terrible choice songs, too.
Yeah, and some of the songs are good, but they're placed terribly in the scenes.
And frankly, we've heard them so many times. It's like Creedence Clearwater Revival, which isn't in this thing. I was thinking about the CCR tracks from, you know, all the movies we've seen. It's like, it's time to retire CCR from movies, and honestly, Chuck Berry music is in this goddamn movie. We don't need to hear Chuck Berry music in movies anymore. You know, we don't need to kind of signify that these are Americans and they're shooting in Amsterdam and it's European and they've got a bunch of European cast members, but it's American, so let's throw in some American music. And, you know, like, I dig a cosmopolitan style, and I feel like it was cool that it was shot on location, but it's trying so hard to kind of hit quadrants and appeal to so many people, and it felt stuck in time.
It felt like it was trying to be a drama at times. It was trying to be a comedy, an action thing. It was trying to be weirdly hilarious and over the top, almost kind of like stupid, like bad.
Overproduced.
Overproduced.
You know, like
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Overthought. Over kind of brushstroked with all kinds of imagery.
Just too much crammed in.
Too much. I mean,
too much music, too much action, too much over the top.
Yeah, and like there's so much light flooding into every shot, which, you know.
Did you notice that?
Yeah,
I totally noticed that.
Which is a nice aesthetic. It's kind of cool, but it's like they saw it in a couple shots and they said, you know what? Let's just layer in light. Let's just have lots of light gleaming and lens flares. Let's put as much of that crap in as we can.
Yeah, there's entire sequences where like Ryan Reynolds is standing there and he's blinded by lights behind him for no apparent reason at all, just for the effect of
just to make it stylish. You know, I do have to give a special shout out to Samuel L. Jackson, who has been doing this kind of thing for so goddamn long.
He's like a robot when he's doing this.
But he's amazing. Like,
no, he's always
good.
Like
the fact that we have him in Die Hard 3 and he's still doing this, you know, in 2017. When was Die Hard 3?
I know.
That feels like 50 years ago.
But I'm not saying I love Samuel L. Jackson, but he is always kind of formulaic in a lot of ways.
Oh,
yeah. Like, goddamn motherfucking bitch.
You hire Samuel L. Jackson for a specific need, and if you are looking
you
for
need the word bitch said, a motherfucker. That's who you hire.
If you are looking for your Samuel L. Jackson quotient, you are going to get that. Your quota is going to be met here, you know. It is a little bit strange, though, to see Nick Fury and Deadpool in a movie together.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way.
And their super heroics are so much more, you know, they matter so much more to cinema at this point, that it feels like they're like Ryan Reynolds is kick-ass in this, but he's way more kick-ass as Deadpool, and the action is just way
it's like,
cooler.
why did you go and do this movie? Why did you need to do this movie?
Right?
It didn't make any sense. Like, why was Gary Oldman in it? Didn't he have something better to do?
Commissioner Gordon was way cooler in that.
Commissioner Gordon's in it too.
I know.
All the superhero guys are all coming together.
And that's kind of, I think, going to be an issue. It's almost like what they prophesized with Birdman. All of these actors, these unbelievably talented actors, are taking on these iconic characters and embodying them and doing great work there, so that if they ever go off and do a slight tangent action picture like this, it's totally superfluous and meaningless and forgettable, you know?
But that's the problem with the movie. It is forgettable.
Yes.
And it's absolutely terrible. I can't say enough. There's so many action sequences and it ends and all of a sudden it goes quiet again, the characters are talking. And you're like, is this the end? Is this the end of the movie? And then all of a sudden it just keeps on going. And then all of a sudden another action sequence, it goes slow. And then after like the 50th time, guys, I was like, are you fucking serious? I was getting mad in the theater.
It's like it's slapping you in the face and then throwing a Chuck Berry track on top of you.
And then honestly, you get to the conclusion, it's over, and then it keeps going, and then when it ends, I know I'm saying it. It keeps going. Even during the end sequence, we got up to leave. It's still going.
Still going. Yeah, no, this
and then it finally ended.
It's so tragic because there is something cool in there, you know. A better editing team and a better director and a better music supervisor could have pulled all of that great work that the actors provided, you know, and the cinematography is all right, and the stunt stuff is cool. The meat of something great is in there.
There was no nice flow with these characters. They kept stopping the characters every time you get started with them. So what are you going to give this movie for a score?
4.5.
Wow, that's quite generous today. I'm going to give it a 4.
A 4, wow.
Couldn't handle it. So if you want to make better films than The Hitman's Bodyguard, you can learn how to do so at the VFS School of Film. You can do it in their 1-year program. Go to VFS.edu to learn more.